got a can of corn right here because this movie was corny.
Wow.
What up, YouTube? This is Ground Entertainment. I'm Eddie G, and today we're gonna be reviewing Y2K. I agree. I got a little aggressive there in the intro, but this is one of the most corniest movies I've seen in quite a while. But I'm not gonna hold that against it. You know, it's a movie set in New Year's Day, 1999, or New Year's Eve, 1999, going into New Year's Day, 2000. So, part of me wants to think that the filmmakers, the director, that was one of their goals, was to make it slightly corny, because let's face it, it was corny times. But sometimes I found myself there cringing, making that strange face that you probably saw in the thumbnail.
Help! Help!
Now, here in Ground Entertainment, we're going to start debuting a new form, a new way to review movies. We're going to divide it into 3 different segments. We're going to call it the good, the bad, and at the end, I'm going to put something called Eddie G's Tag. This is where I tag what I think could have made the movies better. Now, it's not me being egotistical. It's not me thinking that I could be a better director than some of these people in Hollywood, but it's just my ideas on how I think I can make the movie better. And you know what? Sometimes I might be right. So now let's start with the good in this film, which was just one thing.
What?
The only good thing in this movie is Jaden Martell. I think he tries to save this movie. Some of his interactions with his co-stars, you know, he had decent chemistry with Rachel Zegler. I hope that's how you say her last name. And his best friend in the film, Danny, played by Julian Dennison. I think his chemistry with him, his chemistry with Rachel Zegler, which she played Laura, I think that was great in the film. So he's the one bright spot. I think he's what saves the film from being just absolutely terrible. It's him and his interactions with other characters. Adding to that fact, he's the only character that feels real in this film. I understand it's a comedy, it's a horror comedy. It's supposed to be over the top, kind of weird. But he's the only character that seems like a real person that you could actually encounter in real life. Everybody else is almost like a cartoon, which is the bad things, which I'll get to it now. But Jaden Martell, the one bright spot in this film. I wish I had more for you, but that's it. So now, quick turnaround to the bad, the dreaded. Okay, let me relax. The bad in this film, once again, corny script. You know, ironically, it may have worked if this movie came out in the early 2000s, which is the time period it's set in, because we also got some corny movies back then. Editor, play a clip.
I want to hear about this, homie.
I said forget about it, cuz.
But yeah, the corny script had me cringing sometimes. But like I said, I'm not going to hold that too much against the film, because I feel like, in a way, it might have been intentional by the director. You know, it's a film about Y2K. It's the late 1990s, early 2000s, going into the new millennium. So I'll just put it aside and think, all right, that was part of his motivation for the movie. Because also, part of me wants to think, and I didn't get this myself, I got this from somebody who was watching the film with me, but part of it might have been the director, Kyle Mooney. Part of it may have been the director Kyle Mooney's way of kind of feeling nostalgic of an era that he holds near and dear to his heart. So I think the cringiness, the comedy he used was nostalgic to him. Does it work for today's audiences? I don't think so, but we'll see. We'll see how the movie does at the box office. The second bad thing I want to talk about is that every single character in this film is stereotypical as hell. Just think of any group of people in the early 2000s, you know, wannabe rappers, whatever it is, whatever you want to think about it. The most stereotypical person in that group were all in this film. Rachel Zegler plays a stereotypical popular person, you know, talks to everybody, is nice to everybody, blah, blah, blah. Then we have a couple characters who are wannabe rappers, you know, wannabe thugs. I just thought everybody in this film was way too stereotypical, a little over the top, and it got to a point where it just wasn't believable anymore, because they were just playing, you could tell they were just playing characters written for a movie. It never felt real at any moment. The third and the biggest thing that I absolutely despised about this movie, I'm sorry, I'm just being genuine at this point, it wasn't scary and it wasn't funny, and it is at the end of the day marketed as a horror comedy. But not once did I laugh. I broke out a smile once or twice, I'm not gonna lie, but it wasn't funny, and at no point during the movie was I scared. It's a bit problematic for a movie that's labeled as a horror comedy. Lastly, the moment you've all been waiting for, Eddie G's tag. What would I have done to fix this film? Number one, if it just didn't exist. I just have to be genuine. I don't think it's a movie that should have came out. I don't think it's a movie that should have been greenlit. But let me not be so negative. Let me give you another reason or another way I think it could have worked. In all seriousness, it was an interesting concept, but it was just completely butchered in execution. It just wasn't funny. So I think if we reworked some of the script, try to make it a little bit funnier, because I do agree that the only way a film like this works is if you make it a comedy. Go back to the drawing board, fix the script a little bit, and I think maybe we could add a decent movie. But overall, it just wasn't it for me. If you liked it, go ahead and say why in the comments. I respect everybody's opinion. I always say film is subjective. You could love something, I could hate something. That's the beauty of film. But overall, I think I'm gonna have to give the movie a solid 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 is the best I could do for Y2K. Sadly, it's gonna be the first poor review on the channel. It is what it is, man. I just didn't love it. Hopefully you got something out of it if you went to the theaters to see it. I also wanted to debut a new rating system for Ground Entertainment. We're gonna have 4 different tiers in this new system. Tier number 1 is I'm definitely buying it on 4K Blu-ray and putting it in my special films shelf. I actually do have a special films shelf. Maybe I'll show it to you one day. Tier number 2, which is it was good, but one time in theaters is enough. I'm not gonna buy it on Blu-ray. Tier number 3 is you might as well just wait till it's free on any streaming platform. Don't waste your time going to theaters to watch it. And the last tier will be I am gonna buy this on Blu-ray, but so I can burn the Blu-ray. When it comes to Y2K, I think I'm gonna say I am gonna buy this on Blu-ray, but so I can burn the Blu-ray. All right, everybody, this was Ground Entertainment. I'm Eddie G. We'll see you next time.